Hey everyone, it's Sean here, your guide to Warcraft, and we're going straight back in with rank 6 of the Brawlers Guild. This is Nibbler, the Snake. So, he's a bit of an OG boss in the Brawlers Guild. You may be familiar with him. He quite literally is a massive game of Snake. You want to kite him around the edges of the room without him touching his own green goo. If he touches his own green mist, he will get larger, he will take reduced damage, he will deal more damage more frequently, and the less damage that he's going to take means you're going to need more room in the arena to kite him around. So, as you can see here, I'm doing him around the outside of the arena as to kind of work my way inwards. He'll also spit out pools which can throw you off, so be very aware that you don't kite him inside one of his own spit pools. Now, as you can see, I'm a bit sloppy. I'm keeping him to the outside, but I'm not using as much of the arena as I probably should. It's only because at this point I've realized that I have enough damage to kill him before I'm going to need all of the arena. So if you have a bit less damage output, it's probably something you're going to want to practice on, just making sure that you use your space as wisely as possible. Having the most space here is the most important part of this fight. If you run out of places to kite him, he's just going to get bigger and you're going to wipe. So just be careful and use the arena to as best you can, really. Next up we have Stitches. I'm not sure if this one bugged out on me or not, but I'm just going to give you a run through of the tactics anyway. So this green area around him, he moves with him. The longer you're in there, you will gain stacks. The more stacks you have, the more damage you take. The more damage you take, obviously, the shorter you're going to live. So what happens here is if you reach 10 stacks, you die. So you want to make sure that you're fighting him, and then you want to move out of the green area to reset your stacks. I think it's wise to reset your stacks on about 4 or 5 just to avoid damage. But the problem I had with this fight, well, you say problem, I actually think maybe a bug, I'm not sure. My stacks would drop off on their own. I didn't have the Azerite shield or anything like that. I didn't even use AMS. It's just my stacks would sometimes drop off on their own, but you see that I got to about 4 stacks and I just okay, I'm going to walk out now, just play it a bit safe. It also has a grappling hook which will pull you back in, so if you do attempt to leave to reset your stacks, he can sometimes catch you off guard, pull you back in, and then you may continue fighting and realize, oh, my stacks didn't drop off, and then you have to try and get out again. So as long as you're aware and pay a lot of attention, that fight should be pretty easy. Next up we have Robe-Robber. Quite a handful there, but what he will do is he will try and steal your clothes. When he does a cast, he will steal some clothing. He'll also summon these slipstream whirlwindy thingies that you want to run him into. You don't want to actually damage him because he's got a lot of HP. You just want to interrupt his casts and pull him and kite him into his own slipstreams there. What happens every time he hits one is he loses an item of clothing. This will have no effect until he's lost all of his clothing, so just keep kiting him around. I think if you accidentally do get hit by one as well, you can see that I've lost my helmet on my shoulders now, so I'm losing clothing as well. But it's not too much of a problem if you do. Just make sure that he's obviously losing all of his clothing. So just kite him around. Sometimes he'll do that and then he'll cast, and that just gives you an opportunity to kite him into it a bit better. As a DK, I did have Death Grip, but he's pretty quick, so he just kind of did the job on his own. Once he's lost all his clothing, he'll run around the arena a bit embarrassed that he's lost all his clothes, and he will also take a lot of increased damage. So at this point, you can just nuke him down at the end there. You'll be taking a bit more damage, but he's not really going to be doing much fighting back. Once you've got the kiting him round done, it's very easy. Lastly, we have a boss that is probably going to be very familiar to all of you. This is Bruce, but this time it's Mecha-Bruce with his chomp 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 attack, but this time with a few more chomps on the end. So he has a bit of a twist that may catch you off guard. You want to watch out for an ability called Stasis Beam that he casts right after he does Better, Stronger, Faster. When he casts Stasis Beam, you want to make sure that you're far away from him, because then he will run up to you and begin chomping. So, for example, if you're in melee range and he gets you in his Stasis Beam and then begins chomping, you're dead in one hit. So, if you get some range between you and him when he casts Stasis Beam, that means that you will be far enough away so that by the time he runs up to you, the stun will have worn off, unless you have an immunity like AMS that can get you out of it. That's always helpful, but beyond that, very simple boss. Just Bruce with an added mechanic, which is very easy to overcome, I imagine, especially as a caster as well. But yeah, that's all for this one then. Once you've done that, we only have rank 7 left. The final 4 bosses of the Brawlers Guild. They're definitely not going to be any easier. So I will see you then. Links are down below. See you next time.